Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq, with daily insight on the Nasdaq-100 index, or the NDX, which is made up of 100 of the largest domestic and international non-financial innovative companies listed right here on the Nasdaq stock market. The NDX has been the barometer for U.S. large cap growth and also one of the best performing indexes over the last decade and a half, not to mention one of the most liquid index ecosystems in the world. And joining us this afternoon, we have Joyce, Managing Director on Nasdaq's Market Intelligence Desk. And Brian, let's take a look at some key levels in the Nasdaq-100, starting with the daily. It appears that we might be running out of a bit of steam here.
Yeah, we have. In the last couple of weeks, Jill, we've we hit a top around 11,069. We highlighted then the bearish engulfing candlestick pattern up there. We pulled back to 10,370, and we've since been in that range. We retested the top of the range last week, stalled right at it, and then we retested the lows on Friday of last week. So clearly defined support and resistance levels. Does not necessarily mean the index is topping. We went from an uptrend, a very strong uptrend, one of the strongest on record, to now what we call a sideways consolidation in a very clearly defined range. If you look at the bottom of this chart, we see the daily RSI, the momentum indicator. And what I just noticed today is that over the last 4 months, April through July, clearly defined support in that 50-53 zone. So that's something that I would keep an eye on. If that support on the momentum indicator were to give way, then that would suggest to me that we have a bigger correction underway.
And if we take a look at our next chart here, a little bit longer term, I believe it's a 30-day. What are you looking at?
Yeah, this is actually a shorter term, and it's a 30-minute period. Sorry for that confusion. And what's going on here? Just we're looking at have a zoomed-in look to see we initially just on the daily we're looking at the longer-term resistance and support over the last month. But here we could see over the last week or so we've been in a more narrow range between 10,690 and let's call it 10,528. So if you're a shorter-term speculator, whether you're a day trader or a swing trader, this is something you'd want to be looking at, identifying those key near-term risk, resistance and support. And we are today moving above the range we've seen of the last 4 sessions. So that potentially could just mean we're headed back up towards the highs. But ever since we broke out of it about an hour or two ago, we've kind of just been hovering right above that resistance. So it does need to hold above that, and we just have to wait and see how that plays out. Very short.
All right, Brian. Not related to the Nasdaq-100, but I want to get your technical expertise on Bitcoin. It has been an interesting couple of weeks, to say the least.
Absolutely. It's having a good year, obviously, especially off the lows from March, where it's more than doubled. I think we bottomed around 4,900 or 4,000, I should say. We're now, just above 11,000. So nearly tripling, actually. But what's key is this week, we had a big move on Tuesday, I think it was, we were up 10%. What that move did is it broke out from the range it's been in from the highs since November. So about a 9-month range, that resistance was around 99.50. And you can see that there, that's the dotted blue line going left to right. And we're now coming into resistance here with the long-term trend line connecting the highs from 17 and the highs from 19. So this is now a key test. If we can get above that resistance level, then you could see some upside momentum really kick in. And speaking of momentum, the RSI, the weekly RSI in the lower panel, did break out above its 2020 highs. So as price moves higher, momentum is moving as higher as well. So here it's confirming the price action. So I think the ball is, or the wind, or the tailwind is in the sail of the bulls right now. But they do have to kind of hold this momentum and see if they can push higher. The next key levels from here are the highs from 2019. We can, get, to that level and break out above there. Then, we're looking at the highs from 2017, and that's up around 20,000. So, it's big price action, big moves, but because Bitcoin has been, such a, a strong performing asset to the upside and downside, you could see those moves in a short period of time. So, but definitely right now, I think the favor is to the bulls right now with that breakout over the 9-month resistance. And now it's just, testing here, fighting up against that resistance line from 17 and 19.
All right, we need to get those Robinhood traders on board with Bitcoin and move it a bit. All right, Brian, as always, thanks so much for joining me on Trade Talk.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, and thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.